Welcome to Genians Sales Webinar. Hi, my name is Yeonju Lee, in Apex Sales Manager. Genians prepare the sales session for enhancing your sales skill when you meet and persuade your customer. So, the sales session consists of 6 sessions. Today, it is the 4th session of why Genian Network Sensor. We will learn what features Genians Network Sensor has and why it is needed for securing your business. Before moving to the slide, I'd like to check what we learned from this session. There are 3 messages that we need to pay attention today. First, we will learn how important managing the inside network. Second, we will learn how Genian Network Sensor managing the inside network. Third, we will learn what comparativeness on Genian Network Sensor than others. Okay, let's move to the first part of the importance of the inside network. You may remember the first session of why NAC for Zero Trust Security. So at the time, I highlighted how important of the inside network protection. Let's look at the first graph. So between the external threat and internal threat, the internal threat is much more higher than the external threat. And the internal threat, the large part of the occurred by accident malicious staff. And the internal threat, the malicious staff are targeting the company critical assets such as confidential business information and sensitive personal information. Past 5 years, there has been increasing the internal threat, and the cost of the internal threat is also largely increasing, as you can see the graph. What is worse, the insider threat causing not only the cost in the company, but also leading to the business shutdown. There are 3 types of the occurring the insider threat. The first, malicious employee. They have the intention to harm the company with the personal profit. Second, careless employee. They don't know if their behavior causing the accident. Third, employees' ignorance. They didn't know that they can be the accident maker with their ignorance about the security. Among these 3 types today, we can find that there is no proper solution for it, which can monitor and control of them in the company. So, to solve this problem, Genians Suggests when a new device attempts to accessing the inside, the solution should check a user authentication matching with its devices and check a device detail, of the device visibility, and check its device health check and company compliance, and a loaded device reaching to the limited resource, and the logging all event of the device by IT manager. Plus, all of this flow process should be working on every environment and in a real time. Okay, let's move to the second part of Genian Network Sensors feature. We needed to learn the feature of Genian Network Sensor. So after fully understand the network sensor, you can finally agree why it is needed to perfectly protect the business environment. Okay, let's first look at where Genian network sensor is deployed on the network. The network sensor is deployed on the layer 2 switch level. So there is no changing and no configuration with your existing environment, such as switch or controller. IT manager just simply allocating IP to the network sensor, and then the network sensor start to detect devices which are connecting to the network inside in a real time. Unlike other network NAC solution, Genian network sensor has no relying on the existing multiple vendor switch configuration. I have one story. So normally in company, they are divided into infra team and security solution team. So if a solutions appliance should be configured with your existing switch, the staff in the solution team is facing the burden to communicate it with the staff in the infra team. However, with the Genian network sensor, this issue can be cleared. Plus, after deployment of the network sensor, the feature is automatically working. But in case of a server fail, Genian network sensor support fail-safe mode. Plus, you can clearly recognize that who causing the temporary error between the network sensor and other infrastructure, because Genian network sensor is no dependency of the existing infrastructure. Okay, let's move to the Genian network sensor feature. There are 5 features of it. First, discover and user authentication. Second, device visibility. Third, device security posture check. Fourth, list privilege for limited resource. Fifth, monitoring every status of its device changing. Okay, let's first look at the first feature, discover and user authentication. There is device A, which is trying to access to inside, but this device detected by network sensor, and the network sensor verified this device as a new device. The network sensor identified these devices such as IP and MAC and device IDs. As you know, this is a new devices, so there is no device ID yet. And business department, as you know, there is no department yet here. Plus, there are several information about the devices. So to unload these devices to inside it, this device get enforced it by the policy. So IT manager let this device to get the user authentication. After that, the device get the user ID, and finally, this device is registered by Genian NAC. Okay, let's look at the second scenario. There is device B, which is also trying to access to inside it, and this device is detected by Genian network sensor, and Genian network sensor verified these devices as a registered devices. So Genian network sensor identified these devices such as IP and MAC, and device ID. So this device ID is cabin77 registered devices, and plus sales department, and there are several information about these devices. So unlikely the new devices on the previous slide, these devices by the predefined policy enforcements can access only limited resource, not all resource. Next feature is device visibility. Before I started, I would like to emphasize that you can protect your business as much as you can see inside. Therefore, the visibility is the essential and power to secure your business. So, for accurate visibility of the device, there are three components for it. They are Genian network sensor, Genians DPI, device platform intelligence, and device. Genian network sensor in a real time communicated with the network sensor and DPI. So once a new device is detected by the Genian network sensor starts the full scanning and list up the device information based on the Genian's DPI. With the Genian network sensor, you can get the full visibility of the devices. First, in-depth visibility of the devices, such as hardware and software information and the wireless AP and tethering. Second, latest software updated. A network sensor enabled to check if the devices is installed the software and also the software is successfully running. And third, auto remediation. After checking the device status, Genian network sensor let these devices to install and update the latest one for company security. And Genian's DPI regularly updated its device's own information, such as end of sale and end of life. So IT manager enabled to handle it as IT asset management. Plus, Genian's DPI tells us its device's own vulnerability. So IT manager enabled to identify its device vulnerability in advance and then find a way how to fix it with the Genian's CVE guideline. Okay, third feature is device security posture check. Once the devices with the Genian agent is detected by the Genian network sensor, Genian network sensor verified the device's security check, such as if the device's antivirus is successfully installed and running, and some unauthorized process is running on devices, and then Genian network sensor terminated on devices and check some software is the latest one and check some several PC security setting is successfully done. So finally, Genian NAC identified if the device is still in safe. Once a device is detected by Genian network sensor, and Genian network sensor check that this device has not installed it security agents such as NAC or EDLP and antivirus, Genian network sensor redirect these devices to a page we call the captive portal, which let the devices install this security agent. Fourth feature is list privilege for limited resource. The key message of the Zero Trust security is nobody can be trusted until it is verified. Plus, the trust device should get that granted only specific resource where devices are meant to be. As you can see on the slide, the devices ID Kevin 73 group of sales can access the inside the network. However, Kevin 73 in sales can only access to the sales resource. We call this role-based access control or the security. Okay, last feature is monitoring every status of its device changing. This image is one of a part in Genian logging event. A logging event tell us how we can managing our business environment. So I choose one of the cases how Genian NAC show us the device logging. As you know, the Genian network sensor deployed it on layer 2, so it detects every traffic. Every time device's status is changed, the Genian network sensor detects each single status and logging on them. So this logging case is about that new devices is detected and how Genian network sensor loaded this device's access into the inside it. First one, this log about that detected device's IP and MAC information. Second, this is timeline. What time the devices first tried to access the inside network. Third, this log tells about that Genian NAC first identify its device. Fourth, this log tells us this device is not registered yet, so this device defaultly is blocked. Fifth, this logo tells us IT manager check if this device is already belonging to the general step or not, and then loaded it to the inside network. Last one, this device is successfully registered. This case is a simple case of the user authentication, but you can get the further logging event depending on your policy setting. Okay, let's move to the last part of Genian network sensor, difference from others. Today, I'm going to simply compare the Genian NAC with the others, but we're going to have another session called the Genian NAC vs other NAC on session 6, 2 weeks later. So today, it is just about the preview, but you can also get the information why Genian network sensor is needed for your company security in this part as well. Okay, please take a look at this table. I put the Genian NAC and other several NAC vendor solution, but I didn't put the specific name on it. But I think you may guessing what is what by its control way. Genian NAC basically function to control by the ARP enforcement. I'm not going to explain what is ARP and what is SNMP in this session because this explanation will be added on the next session 6. But today I will focus why Genian network control is the much more working for enhancing the business security. Okay, let's look at how Genian NAC and other NAC control devices. Okay, first case is Genian NAC. Let's look at where Genian network sensor is located. It is located on the layer 2 switch level, and all of the traffic is transmitted to the layer 2, which is the already installed network sensor. So IT manager simply allocate IP to network sensor on the layer 2. The network sensor start to detect and control all IP devices which are attempting to the inside. So with this deployment, network sensor discover, update the current device status changing in a real time. And this deployment is no dependency to make this environment, just simply implement on the network sensor. The reason why it is very important is that several NAC solution deployment is very related to the configure with the existing infrastructure. So sometimes it makes it very hard to operate and managing the solution. Okay, second scenario is the way of SNMP pooling. Let's look at where the controller is located. Once the deployed, the controller on the layer 3, it starts to detect the traffic only transmitted up to the layer 3. Under this deployment, there are two weaknesses. First, due to deploying controller on the layer 3, this method may causing lower visibility in a real time because sometimes SNMP pooling occur the delay. Second one, there is some limitation to implement the controller on existing multiple infrastructure, for example, switching and controller. Third case is the way of a radius-based NAC. Let's look at it how it look like. So it is necessary to implement radius client on every switch and required to set the policy server of HA, high availability. Also, there are several limitations to deploy these types of diagram in the network. First, every environment must support all radius feature. Second, all switch controller or AP on existing environment required to configure with the radius. Third, it is dependency of other network equipment, so it may have a lower visibility of the devices. Personally, I think past 10 years, there was a standard of radius-based authentication by 802.1x based protocol. However, I don't believe that current multiple environment with these types of the way is not a proper way to control and remediate the devices. That's the case is the way of IPAM. Let's look at it how it looked like. So deployment is not much different from Genian NAC, but you may recognize that before some IPAM solution companies say that they can function of NAC. However, NAC solution should cover to authenticate whose devices, and also it is very important, remediate the devices against the security risk. However, IPAM has very low visibility and no remediation about the devices. Okay, let's look at again the previous slide of it. So I before highlighted NAC should be working on every environment and in a real time. So based on this topic, first, Genian NAC compromise working on the every environment. IT manager just simply allocated IP to the network sensor, and the network sensor start to detect and control the devices. So other NAC has some limitation to deploy their controller. One vendor say they can cover popular switch configuring with their controller. However, it does not mean that they can support everything all. And on the several cases, it is inevitable to configure it by manually. Second, Genius compromised the real-time detection. By deployment of network sensor on the layer 2, it is possible to detect every traffic in a real time. However, other NAC solution has sometimes lower visibility due to the traffic related or dropping. Before ending the slide, I would like to say one thing. So far, what I have talked, I don't mean that which one is better or which one is better not. But instead, I wanted to tell you what environment of your company or your customer are in now. And then you needed to guide the customer which types of control way is suitable, appropriated for the customer. To do this, you prior need to learn about Genian network sensor and others vendors control way as well. So I hope that after ending this session 4, you review this slide and video for consulting your current and potential customer. This is end of today's webinar session 4. I highly appreciate it with you joining this session. So I hope you guys to see you next week with the next session. Thank you so much.